Hey, I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Today I'm going to show you how to install a Tusk Stage 2 Upgrade Kit on your Can-Am Maverick Trail. The Tusk Stage 2 Upgrade Kit is one of the easiest ways to get some of the best upgrades installed on your brand new Can-Am Maverick Trail. Now these upgrades are going to give you a more comfortable ride and help your new machine stand out and look good. So what comes in the kit is this full glass windshield. You also have the pivot folding mirrors with A-pillar mounts, the Force aluminum roof, and a Polycarb rear window. Now all these accessories are easy to install. Let me show you how. To start out, we're going to install our roof. So first thing we want to do is make sure it's clean. I'm going to use some soapy water on a rag and wipe it down. After that, we're going to install the two roll cage clamps in the back. So first we're going to remove that button head bolt from the flat section and then remove the back of the clamp. Now we're not going to be using the rubber strip that comes inside. And when you install this, we're just measuring 4.5 inches from that weld on the inside. Come out 4.5 inches, and that's going to be the outside of our clamp. And when you put the backside of the clamp on, just make sure you leave it loose enough so you can make adjustments with this, and then we'll go do the same thing on the other side. Next, we're going to install some foam tape on top of the roll cage, and that's just going to help dampen vibrations going to the roof. So with this stuff, we're just going to go down both sides and across the front of the roll cage. Next, we're going to set the roof into place. You might want to have a friend help you do this. Then we can install the hardware, make adjustments, center it from side to side and front to back, and then tighten it down. And keep in mind, with this hardware on top, you want to tighten down both bolts going into the roll cage clamps. And then once you're done with that, you're going to tighten the back of the clamps. Next, we're going to get the mirrors installed. So we'll start out by installing the mirror mounts. Now, normally there's a plastic cover over the A-pillars. You've got two Torx bit screws right here that you need to pull out and then remove the plastic cover. But our machine is actually missing that piece. So the next thing we're going to do is one side at a time, we're going to remove the A-pillar bolts. This is just a 15mm deep socket, and we're not going to reuse the A-pillar bolts, but we will reuse those nylock nuts. Now for the mirror mounts, the mount is going to turn up like this. We've got the spacer on the back side, and the two M10 by 45mm bolts are going to go all the way through, and then we've got the nylock nuts on the back. Next, we can install the mirror. We have this in the correct orientation already, and we just need to remove the bolt from the end. You can use a 13mm combo wrench to do that. Make sure you keep track of the star washer right here. So this bolt we're not going to reuse. We're going to use the bolt that came with the spacer. So we'll remove that bolt from the spacer. Again, keep track of the star washer. Put the bolt through the mount. Install one of the star washers, the spacer, another star washer, and then screw that bolt into the mirror. And then before we snug everything down, we're going to make sure the spacer and the mirror are aligned. We'll adjust that where we want it and tighten the bolt. Then we'll do those same steps on the other side. Moving on, we're going to install the rear window. I'm wearing some rubber gloves to keep my fingerprints off it, and we're going to remove the protective film from both sides. I've got this on a blanket to protect the surfaces. Now we can bring this over to the machine and set it in place. Now as I set this in place, we're going to set the bottom end in first, and you can see as I'm putting it in, I'm having to bend the middle just a little bit. And then we're just going to slide this on the front side of that cargo bed. Once you have the rear window sitting like this, we need to press the window up, and these two tabs need to end up on the inside of the roll cage. Okay, so with the rear window sitting like this, I'm having a friend help me do that. What we're going to do, there's some longer bolts that come in the kit. We're going to put these through the two corner slots first. Next, we're going to install the two P-clamps or loop clamps. Now, this flat side, this is going to be on the inside, and we're actually going to sandwich the rear window in between the clamp, right in here. Then we're going to take the shorter bolts that come in the kit. We'll go through the clamp and put the nut on the inside. Then once you've done that with both clamps, you can go through, make your final adjustments with the rear window, and tighten all this top hardware down. Now I do want to mention to be careful and don't over tighten this hardware, otherwise you could actually crack this polycarb rear window. Now that the hardware is tight, we can take care of the bottom three mounts. So inside of the cab, you see those three pre-drilled holes through the window. We're going to drill through that plastic panel just behind them and then install the plastic trim clips. And with those plastic trim clips, you just press them through, and then once they're in place, press down on the middle button and it's going to lock in place. Next, we're going to install the windshield. Now with this, again, we've laid down the blanket. We don't want to damage this thing, and the front side of this is going to be facing down. So the side we're looking at goes inside the cab, and what we're going to do, we're going to start out on top with this bulb seal. This is the straight 39-inch piece of bulb seal, and we're going to work this on. Now, if there's any spots that are loose when you push this down, you want to squeeze those together, and that's going to give you a tighter fit. Once you're to this end, we have a little bit of extra material, so I'm just going to lift that up. I'm going to take the side cutters and trim the excess material off. After that, we're going to take this 98-inch piece of bulb seal, and this one's at 90 degrees, and the bulb seal is going to be facing in towards the cab. We're going to work this all the way around the perimeter of the frame. Right where that meets the other bulb seal, we're going to cut that off right there with the side cutters. Now over at the machine, we need to install our mounting brackets. So you'll notice there's a right and a left. So the right bracket, that's going to be your passenger side bracket, and the R is going to be facing up. So to install this, we've got a couple holes in the frame already. That comes like that stock, and we actually need to use the supplied drill bit to drill these out bigger. Now starting at the bottom of the bracket, I'm going to put a spacer between the bracket and the frame, and then we've got that Torx head bolt. We're going to thread that into the hole we just drilled. And I'm just going to use a T40 Torx bit on my ratchet to do that. Then at the top of the bracket, we're using the second highest slot. So go through there with the self tapper. And again, thread that into the hole we just drilled. After that, make sure the bracket is in the lowest position, and then we're just going to snug down both of the bolts. Then we can do those same steps on the other side. After that, you want to have a friend help you set the window in place. You'll hook the top end in first and then set the bottom end down. And then you can take the 4 supplied knobs and screw those in. Next, we're going to install our windshield wiper. So the first thing we need to do is remove this plug from our frame. This just pops right out from the back side. Next, we need to remove the mount from the knob. So I'm going to remove the smaller nut. Then you should be able to slide off the mount. And then from the mount, we're going to remove the big nut, one of these washers, and a grommet. And then we're going to slide this from inside the cab through that windshield frame. Then we'll reinstall the grommet and the washer on top, followed by the nut, and then we'll use 2 17mm open end wrenches to tighten that down. Now we can prep the wiper, so we'll remove that protective cover from it. Just slides right off like that. And then this actually has 2 tabs, one on each side. Pressing on those and it's going to let you pop that plastic cover up. We'll install the wiper arm through the cover, hook it onto the wiper, press the cover down, and then we're going to push the cover up on that mount. We'll install the knob through the back side of the mount. And then this wiper arm has splines on it. You want to press down on this and line up the splines with the knob, and I actually have the knob in line with the arm as well. Once you've done that, you can install that small nut on top and use a 10mm socket to tighten it down. And last, we'll put the cover into place. And that's how you install the Tusk Stage 2 Upgrade Kit on your Can-Am Maverick Trail. If you need this kit, it's available on our website, so be sure to check that out. And if you have any questions about the install process, leave those questions down in the comments below. Now, if you want to see more helpful content like this, subscribe to our channel. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.